Hello and welcome to Tuesday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, where my reward for managing to keep talking or keep solving and not exploding after yesterday's 2-hour video is a puzzle called X Dots by Nihilian. Now, I've got no idea how difficult this is, but I've just opened it and it doesn't look that easy to me. I mean, there's some black dots and a couple of diagonals and a couple of average-looking little killer clues. This looks like it could be another monster. I hope I will get through this. You will know from the length of the video how difficult I have found this puzzle. But yeah, it's with some trepidation, I think, that we're going to have to stare at this one today. Now, I've got a couple of things to mention before we kick off. The first thing I'd like to do is to say very well done to more of you who have got through the Star Wars Sudoku Hunt, which is available to everybody on Patreon right now. So well done to David Clare, to Jay Arms, to Jim Davis, to Lindsay and Aaron, and congrats on your engagement, guys, as well. Fantastic news. For Corentin Evans, it could be Corentin Evans as well. Apologies if I've got that wrong. And Simon Dixie, and that puts me in mind of Tom Lehrer, the magnificent Tom Lehrer. I want to go back to Dixie. I want to be a Dixie Pixie. Well, I can't remember how the rest of it goes. I want to go back to Dixie, where the honeysuckle clutters up the vine. I really am a-fixing to go home and start a-mixing down below that Mason-Dixon line. Oh, poll tax, how I love you, my dear old poll tax. Yeah, the inimitable Tom Lehrer, and no, I won't be doing any Tom Lehrer guitar intros at the moment, no matter how much I might love the man. No, the current guitar intro I'm working on, in case any of you are interested, is Nothing Else Matters by Metallica. So yeah, look out for that one sometime soon. Anyway, there was something else, with all this frivolity, there was something else I wanted to mention before I read you the rules of this one. Oh yes, Phistomefel. The evil but mighty Phistomefel has released a new puzzle that I can show it to you here. It's called Fillomino Aquarium. And helpfully it says this puzzle, actually I don't know if that's in the middle of the screen, there you go, Fillomino Aquarium. This puzzle is a mixture between Fillomino and an aquarium. It looks very interesting, but I think we've done a few Fillominos on the channel over the years. I think only one aquarium puzzle, maybe two. But Mark said that this might not be the puzzle that I should do on the channel. But you know me, I absolutely love Phistomefel puzzles, so I'm desperate to have a go at this. So what I will do is I will have a go at it. I'm not saying it'll be today. It'll either be, well, probably be today or tomorrow. And then if I can solve it, I'll just put the video over on Patreon. So if you're a patron of the channel and you've had a look at this one and you want to know how to do it, hopefully there will be some sort of attempt by me over there. If there isn't, after a couple of days, that means I haven't been able to do it. And for that, I apologise. But anyway, Fillomino Aquarium by Phistomefel, definitely worth your attention if you have any interest in fine puzzles. Now, let's get on with X Dots and see what's going on here. We've got normal Sudoku rules apply. Each main diagonal marked in blue must contain the digits 1 to 9 once each. Cells separated by a black dot must contain digits with a 1 to 2 ratio. So those squares there could be, what could they be? They could be 2 and 4, or 1 and 2, or 3 and 6, things like that. So just make sure that one of the digits is double the other one, and that will work. Where's delete? Now, what else does it say? It says not all possible dots are given. So that means that it's perfectly possible, for example, for these two squares to be a 2-4 pair. Just because there isn't a black dot doesn't mean you can't have other dominoes in this puzzle where one of the digits is double the other one. It just means that in these particular dominoes, one of the digits must be double the other one. Clues outside the grid give the sum of the digits along the indicated diagonal. So those 6 cells add up to 37. Is there something? Yes, digits may repeat along such diagonals if allowed by the other rules. So we can repeat digits. So imagine this square was an 8. We could have an 8 there as well. That would be absolutely fine. What you can't do is put 2 8s in box 4, because that will break the rules of Sudoku and mean you get the puzzle wrong. Don't get the puzzle wrong, that would be a disaster, but do have a go at it. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual. Now I get to play. Let's get cracking, and boom. That's where my inspiration ceases, because what do we do here? I mean, 37 in 6 cells is averaging very close to 6, which admittedly is very slightly high, the average Sudoku digit being a 5, but it's sort of, you know, it's not a mark you'd want in your exam, is it? It's a 6 rather than a 5. It's sort of a C+. So this diagonal is frustratingly ordinary. And 27 in 5 cells is even more ordinary. This one is even more boring. So the diagonals don't look at first blush to me like they're going to be helpful, which means it must be the black dots. And so is this a colouring puzzle then? Yeah, maybe. Maybe it is, because there is something fairly obvious about black dots. Black dots have 4 different incarnations in a Sudoku. They've got they can have 4 different personality profiles. They can be a 1-2, a 2-4, a 4-8, or a 3-6. Now, interestingly, look at the way these have been lined up. These 2 point at those 2. So if, let's just put some digits on this, if this was a 3-6 domino, neither of those 2 could be a 3-6 domino, because this square can be neither a 3 nor a 6, and neither can this one. And obviously this one couldn't be a 3-6 domino because it shares the box with it. So this one is different from from these 4 dominoes, or these 3 other dominoes, and that means we can colour. So I'll make that one purple, I'll make that one green. The same logic applies to green, incidentally. Look, whatever green is can't repeat in that one or that one. So let's put some digits. So we'll make that blue and that orange. And all 4, so this is the 4 different personalities of black dot that we've got highlighted now. Now, can we then extend that over into box 3? And the answer to that is possibly. I'm just hesitating because I can see that it's not possible for either of these black dot dominoes to be orange or blue now. That's fine, but what I can't see is whether I can label them. You know, do I know this one's purple or is it this one that's purple? I'm not sure I do. Let me just take a stare at this. This cell, it sees 1 purple and 1 green on the diagonal, but it doesn't see both purples and it doesn't see both greens. And the same is true of this cell. So I'm not actually sure I can differentiate these. It's weird, yeah. Okay, and then we can continue the logic though into this box. And I think it's going to work in a similar way. We're not going to know what the color. We know that this 2x2 is an orange-blue 2x2, but we don't know which way round it goes because we just don't have enough information about what's in this box. And this is weird because what we could have done is started the puzzle on this side and coloured these 2x2s in very confidently, and then we would have run into exactly the same problems on the left-hand side of the grid where we would have had to do stripiness. So we were always going to get left with some stripiness here, but no actual digits. And this is terrifying because, well, no, it is terrifying. I mean, I can see that this domino here, and then presumably that domino, can't be purple or green. So this domino has to be orange or blue, and this domino has to be orange or blue. Now, if these were the same, that would mean that orange or blue would go in 2 of those 3 squares, but there's no requirement that these are the same. If this was, well, if this was 1, 2, and this was, I don't know, 3, 6, say, then that could be 3, 6, and that could be 1, 2, and that would be fine. And that would tell us nothing about those 3 cells. This is weird. This is really weird. Maybe. No, I was about to say maybe I could do something with the diagonals, but I don't think I can. Can we do anything with the actual numbers? And my first reaction is no, I don't think I can. If we know one of the dominoes is a 1, 2, one of the dominoes is a 2, 4, one of them is a 4, 8, one of them is a 3, 6. Ah, yeah, okay. So the 2, 4 is an interesting domino then. Because the 2, 4 forces its partner. Right. I had not appreciated that. And for that I apologise, but I have now. 2, 4. Let's imagine this was a 2, 4 domino. What can this domino be? Now, it can't be 1, 2. It can't be 2, 4, because we've just said this one's 2, 4. It can't be 1, 2, and it can't be 4, 8, actually. So it would be forced to be 3, 6. So wherever 2 and 4 appear in these 2x2s, there will be a 3, 6 accompanying it. So those digits will be 2, 3, 4, and 6. And therefore the other domino, the other 2x2, so let's imagine this one was 2, 3, 4, and 6. This has to be the other ways of making black dots work. So this would have to be a 1 and a 2 and a 4 and an 8. So one of orange and blue, so orange and blue is either 2, 3, 4, 6 or 1, 2, 4, 8. And the same is true of yellow and purple. 2, 3, 4, 6. So they've got... Oh, I see. Right, got it. Well, I've got something. I know what this is. I know what that domino is now. This is very clever. I don't know, maybe to some people this will be incredibly obvious. I apologise if so. It was not obvious to me, but this this 2x2 here, whether it is the 2, 3, 4, 6 variant or the 1, 2, 4, 8 2x2, because it must be one of those things, it definitely has a 2 and a 4 in it. And that means every single one of these 2x2s has a 2 and a 4 in it, whatever the nature of the personalities underlying the 2x2. So now I can put 2 and 4 into all sorts of places in the grid by Sudoku. Because if I've got 2s and 4s in those squares, in column 1, where do the 2s and the 4s go? Well, they have to go in that triple. In row 3, where do the 2 and 4s go? They have to go here. Column 7, row 9, it's all the same logic. And if 2 and 4 live in those 3 squares of box 4, what do we put on this black dot now? Because 2 and 4 rule out 3 of the 4 options. They rule out 1, 2, 2, 4, and 4, 8. So that, I think, has to be 3, 6. Which is really beautiful, because now I have proved these are the same, which means 3 and 6 have to go into 2 of these 3 squares. And that means... bobbins. That means bobbins. I don't know what that means. I would love to know what that means, but I don't think I do. I suppose no, I do know what that means. If I've got 3, 6 here, yes, here we go. Neither green nor purple can be a 3, 6 domino now. Good grief. Because obviously if you try and put 3, 6 here, you'll rule 3, 6 out of that cell, and that won't work. So if these are not 3 and 6, 3 and 6 must live in this 2x2, which means that those squares are 2, 3, 4, and 6 now. Which means these squares are 2, 3, 4, and 6. I suppose I could have got this a different way now I'm thinking about it. Once I knew that either orange or blue was 3-6, I could have done that instantly. But anyway, I've done it a different way, as usual. Now, that means these squares are now known because they don't have the 2 and the 4 in them. So they have the 1, 2, and the 4 and the 8 in them. Now I've got a 1, 2, 4, 8 quadruple on the positive diagonal. So the other cells have got to be 3, 5, 6, 7, 9. Now pencil mark would pencil mark those in, but I am not the same as pencil mark, so I'm not going to do that. No, I refuse. That's too many digits to get a handle on, I think. 3 and 6 by Sudoku. Where do they go in column 1? They're not there, and they're not here, so they must go in 2 of those 3 cells. And the same must be true. There's quite a lot of symmetry in this puzzle, actually. I think now we're delving down into it. We're discovering symmetry. Aha, here is a nice thought. That is not a 3-6 pair. Why do I say that confidently? Well, if this was a 3-6 pair, what would you put into those 3 squares now? Those 3 squares are definitely the digits 2 and 4 and one other digit. But if this was a 3-6 pair, the only places for 3 and 6 in row 3 would be also in these 3 squares. So you'd have to put 4 digits into 3 cells, and that won't work. You'd have to put 2, 3, 4, and 6 in here. So that's interesting, because that means this square is now forced to be a 3 or a 6. And that square could... hang on a minute. So we've got... no, it's the... Right, okay. Should actually take my own advice. Symmetry. So yeah, we're going to have to think about this, I think, more and more. Where we find some logic in one part of the grid, we're going to have to sort of rotate the grid and try that logic elsewhere. Because what I just said here is also true here for these 2 squares. If those 2 squares were a 3-6 pair, then by symmetry, these squares would have to include a 3 and a 6 and a 2 and a 4, but there are only 3 cells. That won't work. So this domino is also not a 3-6 pair, which means this cell must take one of those digits to relieve the pressure. Now I've got a 3-6 pair on the positive diagonal. This square is not a 3 or a 6, and that means I've got a 3-6 pair in the central box out of absolutely nowhere. That is beautiful. So now these squares take on the mantle of being either blue or orange. And that means I can make those either blue or orange, and that will make me feel like I'm making progress. Now what do we do? I want to do something with 3s and 6s. That's my inclination. Well, or what we could do that might be simpler than that. No! Well, I've come up with 2 things. Right, I've got 2 things that we can do here. Yeah, this is beautiful. Let's do the beautiful thing first. The other thing is a bit more mundane. This diagonal, where do you put 3 and 6 on it? Now this square can't be a 3 or a 6, and this square can't be a 3 or 6, because this is a 2, 4, 3, 6 quadruple. So 3 and 6 are ruled out of all of these cells, and it's the same in box 9. Those 2 can't be 3 or 6. So that square has to be a 3 or a 6. So it's not a 2 or a 4, which means that's not a 2 or a 4. And we have now located. So now blue is 3, 6, which means that one is 2, 4. So all of a sudden we're going to be able to do a load of colouring here. And this one obviously is a 3, 6 as well. So that one is blue. It's not orange anymore. So this has become orange, and that one is 2, 4. Oh, that's going to be huge. Look, 2, 4. So this is a 1, 8 pair. That's a 2, 4 pair. And now it's getting... Well, now we're getting into the realms of pollution, aren't we? We might be forced to pollute our colouring. Anyway, let me just carry on with my colouring of things that are not polluted first. This is not 2-4, so this is 2-4. Yeah, and there's more opportunities up here to pollute the colouring. Anything with a 3 and a 6 in it has to become blue and stop being orange. So that's the same. That's got to lose its orangeness. Yeah, and just to show you what I was thinking in terms of pollution, is that what I wanted purple and green to be were the other personalities of black dots. But look, I've actually got the possibility here of labelling this domino orange. I don't know if I should do that. I can do the same here. This domino could just be an orange domino now because we've got this sort of 2-4 thing going on. I don't know whether that's a good idea or not. I think I'll stay with what I've got at the moment, but I might be prepared to change. Now, the boring thing I'd seen is that these three squares have got to be the digits 5, 7 and 9 now, because we've got a 2, 4. Well, originally it was a 1, 2, 4, 8 quadruple and a 3, 6 pair. So those squares have got to be 5, 7 and 9 in some order. This square now cannot be a 3 or a 6, look, because it sees 3 and 6. So that square acquires blueness. I'm definitely going to check the symmetrical counterpart of that, which is here, and yes, it works. I do enjoy a puzzle where symmetry comes into its own. It makes me feel good about the world. So, what does that mean? Don't know. I don't know. It means that. Well, I'm wondering now whether actually what I'm meant to do is to think about 5, 7s and 9s, because I've got all these 5, 7s and 9s going on. Yeah, in fact, I am going to do that because, look, if I yellow these in, these two yellow ones, where do they go in that box? Well, they can't go there, so they have to go there. So there's yellowage going on, and that, by symmetry, that's yellowed. Now I've got all my yellows in column 7 and column 1. So these squares, what do these squares have to be? These squares have to be, one of them is yellow. One of these two is yellow, actually. So that one must be a 1 or an 8, mustn't it? Because I've not put any 1s and 8s in this box. So this is a 1 or an 8. And corresponds to... this is weird. Yeah, I'm getting more and more unsure. I think we do. I think we've got a switch. And the reason I think that is that actually now, how much more use am I going to be able to make of the black dots? And the answer is none, isn't it? Now I've got these... I haven't got any other black dots to use. So what's more important now is the nature of the actual digits. So I think I've got to make those orange. And I've got to make these orange. I really hope this isn't wrong. And now, probably... I'm wondering if I think I'll leave these separate for the moment, but that's got to be a 2-4 pair. This square is therefore either orange or green, depending on things, but that we don't know yet. I've also actually, look at this, I've got 3 yellows. I've got the 3 different yellows on the negative diagonal. Oh, and a 3, 6 pair. Whoa, whoa, whoa. So what do I need on that? I need 1s, 2s, 4s and 8s. Oh, this is beautiful. Good grief. Yes, I see. The simpler way to look at this is where do 2 and 4 go on the negative diagonal? They have to go there. It's easier to see now. So those squares have got to be 1s and 8s as well. And if they're 1s and 8s, they get their... Yeah, and now I can colour them because of this one. This is purple, so that's got to be green. Therefore, that's got to be purple. That's got to be green. Purple here means that's got to be green. And therefore, that's got to be purple. Oh, this is so sublime. Now, what does that mean? Come on. I'm sure it means something. Well, I can see those are 1s and 8s now by Sudoku. So they're purple and green. Okay, and that's quite interesting because look at, if we think about box 1 and ask where purple is, the answer is we don't quite know. It's in one of those 2 squares. But definitely there is purple and green in those 3 squares, and there's purple and green there. So in box 2, purple and green are in those 3 squares, but in column 5, purple and green are these 2 squares. So that's not purple or green. So that is a purple-green duo. And yes, I am going to check box 8 for that exact logic. In fact, oh, it's weird. It's easier in box 8. Why is it easier in box 8? I don't know why, but it just seems to be. I probably haven't thought through exactly the same logic somehow when looking at something, because I would have expected this to be symmetrical, but you can see I've got exactly the same deduction there regarding purple and green. So now I've got this sort of X-swing on 1s and 8s going on. That square must now be yellow by just Sudoku-ness. I need a 3rd yellow in row 8, so presumably that's a yellow. Now I've got 3 yellows in column 5. So now I need... Yeah, this is just gorgeous, isn't it? Where do 2s and 4s live in column 5? Well, they're not there, and they're not there, and they're not in any of the digits I've labelled so far. So those are now oranged, and they are 2s and 4s, which means the top 2 digits... Oh, it means that's not a... Oh no, hang on, I've made a mistake. That's not 2 or 4. No, it's because it's not symmetrical. It is symmetrical, but not in the way that it normally would be. This one is definitely a 2 or a 4. 2 or 4 comes out of there and goes in there. That's better. So now those should be orange. Now those 2 therefore have to be the other things that we've not put in, which are blues, I think. And that looks much better. Oh, so these are both yellow, just to complete row 7, which means those are yellow to complete row 1. There's so much symmetry going on, it's mad. So we've now got one of those is a 2-4, and what's the other one then? It's not yellow, it's not red-green. Oh, it's blue. Okay, so this is sort of a, it's that thing going on, and that's that thing going on as well, which is not actually that helpful. Okay, but what does that mean for these 2 squares? One of them is yellow, which is surely this one. Well, yeah, so I think whatever this is, where does it go in this box? It must go there. So that's yellow, which means that one's purple. Lovely. And it is expressly purple because it's not green. Are we going to get a fully coloured grid here? It's not impossible, is it? Yeah, look at this. What completes this column? I need 3 yellows. Well, I've only got 1, so that's 2 yellows. I might be able to do that over here. I can do it in column 9. The symmetry's strange. It's not quite regular, is it? Because column 3 and column 9 are behaving together, just as it was row 1 and row 7 were behaving together. What's that? That must be known. That's yellow. Need 3 yellows in the box. One of these is yellow, and one of these is green. Do I know which one? Not until I disambiguate those 2. So this is a yellow-green combination. So this is going to be a yellow-purple combination. Yeah, it is. Okay. What about those squares then? They've got to include 2 and 4 and green. I'm struggling to see how I'm going to disambiguate this now. Oh, I've not looked at my little killers though. Ah, yes, okay. Well, that one doesn't look great, but this one might be. I've got 3 blue digits on this diagonal, and that one's yellow, so that's a 5, 7, or a 9. So what am I looking at here? Maxing this or minning it? Or am I meant to be thinking about... I've got to be careful here, actually. I was about to say these are all the same, but they don't have to be all the same, do they? Is that right or not? These two have to be the same, because they both see that digit. So whatever this is, these are not. So those are definitely the same. Let's give those a red flash. They are the same. This one, I'm not sure if that's the same or not. Let's try it. So if that's 3 6s, that would be 18. These have to add up to 9. No, that's not possible because they'd have to be the counterpart to a 1-8 pair. This would have to be a 1-8 pair, and it can't be. So it's not 3 6s. Is it 3 3s? That would be 9. These would have to add up to... No, it's not. These two would have to add up to 18. That's too many, especially as this can't be a 9. So now we're going to be able to colour our 3s and 6s, because we now know, because we know those two are the same, but all 3 can't be the same, this is different. So I'll give this a black flash. So this is either 3 3 6, which would be 12, and these would be adding to 15, which is possible, 8 here, 7 here, or we've got 6 6 3, which is 15, and these need to add up to 12, which is not possible because you can't put 4 in the square. This is so clever. So now we know what this is. 3 3 6 8 7, and forgive me, I'm just going to double check this. That is 12. 12 and 15 is 27. That is gorgeous. Right, so now that's a 3. That's a 3 and that's a 6. That's a 6. That's a 1, look. So that unwinds our 1 and 8 X-wings. That's a 6, I suppose. So that's a 6 and that's a 3. 3 sees the 6 on the diagonal. Yeah, I mustn't forget diagonals here. They're probably going to be absolutely crucial. What else can we do here? 8s and 1s, come on. 7. That's 7s. Okay, that's not a 7. That's not a 7. Oh no. Okay, I thought that was just going to tidy it up. It might be the other diagonal we've got to look at. Although that seems unlikely, actually, because we know so little about it. Okay, we'll have to think about that in a second or two. Let me try and come up with some more logic first. What about... Have I done as much as I can do with 3s? I know there's a 3 in one of those 2 cells by Sudoku now. So this is okay, so that's a 2 3 4 triple, because I know there's a 3 down here accompanying what I know would be a 2 4. That's a 5 7 or a 9. Actually no, this isn't taking the world of knowledge forward, is it? I don't feel like I know enough. I don't even know the colours of those 2 squares, so these have total optionality, apart from they can't be 3s and 6s. So can we improve somehow on... one thing I might have to do, which I'm reluctant to do but may be necessary, is to colour the individual cells of the 5 7 9 triple. It's not impossible that that's what's required. Or green. I know purple is in here. I know green is in here. Or I know that this is not yellow. because I've already completed the yellows in the column. Maybe this column I've got to think harder about. I know that I've got to put 2 and 4 into here. Is there some way we can rule something out of one of these cells? Or, well, I say or over here, but I think it's totally symmetrical. So I suppose that square's a 5 or a 9 now. Maybe it's something to do with the yellows in this row. Yeah, this row needs 1s, 2s, 4s and 8s. So this, oh yeah, okay, that's true. Yes, maybe row 5 is what we need to look at. Because the row needs 1, 2, 4 and 8, but the 2 and the 4 in these boxes are locked in, so that's a 1 or an 8 and that's a 1 or an 8. Now 1s and 8s are green and purple. So now these two squares have to be a 2-4 pair. Wow. And 2-4 pairs deserve to be titled orange or coloured orange. So now that becomes yellow to complete column 2, and column 8 needs another yellow. So we are slowly, we've now almost coloured the grid. We're left with green. We can't do it. We're left with green in one of those and purple in one of those, and because we don't know what those are, we can't do the order. So this digit, it could be a 2 or a 4, or it's green, which is a 1 or an 8. That's very annoying, because that means this square's got huge amounts of options, and the yellows have quite a lot of option as well, because lowest digit, well, actually not that bad. 5 and 7 would be the lowest this could be, which would be 12, and 7 and 9 is the highest, which is 16. So does this need to be high digits or low digits, do you think? Slightly high average, isn't it? Maybe we can force that to be an 8 then. Yeah, okay, let's try high digits. So if you go 9, 7, 4, that's 26 by the time we reach here. We need these to add up to... yes, here we go. We need these to add up to 11 still. Even if we max out all these digits, we need these to add up to 11. Well, the maximum they could add up to is 12. So there's only 1 degree of freedom on this diagonal, and that means we can basically rule out everything. That's got to be 8. That's got to be 4, because if it's 2, we can never reach 37. So that's got to be 4. This has to be a 7-9 pair, because again, if we use a 5 to adulterate the total, we're losing 2 digits, and we've only got 1 digit spare. So that is a 7-9 combo, which means that's a 5, which means that's not a 5. And then this digit is just going to be forced by the total. So now we've got 18 and 16 is 34. That needs to be a 3. Beautiful. Now, have we now sorted it out? Because now I'm seeing that the 3 is the blue digit, isn't it? So that's now got to be orange. So now this can't now be orange, because orange has been used up in its column. So that's not a 2 or a 4, which means that this is a 2 or a 4. And it means this square must therefore be a 6, because it can't be a 3, which means that we get the middle done with a 6 and a 3. And a C, because we know that digit now, we know that digit, and we therefore know that's a 1 and that's an 8, and that's an 8. Let's check the diagonal. That's a 1, that's an 8, that's a 1, that's an 8. I don't quite know how we do the 1s and 8s in the middle, but it must be nearly cracked now, mustn't it? 8's got to be in one of those two cells. 4 here means that that's become a 2, actually. So that's a 2 and that's a 4. That's a 4, that's a 2, that's a 4, that's a 2. Is something resolved on one of these diagonals? Oh, I know what is resolved. These black dots are now resolved. That 1's got to go with 2 and the 8's got to go with 4. So that does the black dots at the top. These black dots are resolved, so the 4 and the 2 and the 4. It's just a stunning puzzle, isn't it? It's so ridiculously clever. Now that can no longer be orange, so that must be the orange in that box, and therefore that square's got to be the 8. And 8 is purple, so that one's green, that one's purple. We can that one's got to be purple, that one's got to be green. This 8 is doing the middle now, so that's 8 and that's 1. That gets purpled, that gets greened, that gets greened, and that gets purpled. And have we done all the 8s? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Have we done all the 1s? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nearly. That's got to be 1. Now we've done all the 1s. Nearly. And hopefully now it's just going to be a case of figuring out what's going on with the 5s, 7s and 9s, and that's probably going to be doable, I'm hoping, because what have we got? Yeah, here we go. 7's got to be in one of those two squares in box 4, which is seeing that one, so that gets us the middle box done. That gets us those two cells done. That's now a 9. That's got to be 5 and 7. That's a 9. And this is a 5-9 pair, he says, hoping it's going to resolve. Can't see how it does. 9 goes there in box number 4. This is 5 and 7. This is 5 and 7. This is 5 and 7. The 9 on the diagonal and the 5 plonk a 7 into that square, which gives us a 5, a 9, a 7, a 9, a 5, a 5, a 9, and a 5. And oh, that 5 is huge. Look, 5, 7, 7, 5, 9, 7. I think I've done the puzzle. I'll remove the black flash from that so there's no adulteration of colours. I will click tick, and I have done the puzzle. Wow. Wow, X dots by Nihilion. That is a very smart puzzle indeed. What did I admire about it? Well, many things. The minimalism of it. I really thought that was very stunning. Let's in fact just duplicate the tab for a second and just load the puzzle up again. So restart it, and let's just take a quick look. I mean, it is remarkable that this has a unique solution. But firstly, we had to appreciate some stuff about the individual personalities of black dots, and that we could do some sort of disambiguation. And then, then I had to work out that 2 and 4 could only go with 3 and 6, which was absolutely crucial, because that allowed us to know that there was a 2-4 in all 4 of these 2x2s. That allowed us to know these were 3s and 6s. And once we knew these were 3s and 6s, we knew the nature of these 2x2s here and here. And that from there, we could use the diagonals to make progress. It's stunning. Nihilion, it is stunning. Let me know in the comments how you got on with it. Let me know if I was a bit slow about any of it. I do enjoy the comments, especially when they're kind. And wish me luck with the Phistomefel, which I hope to get to later on tonight. And we'll see you later on for another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.